guys, welcome back. Today we're going to answer the most requested question that I've gotten since the reveal. Are the Starjoy 120s the same as the new gold edition? So today we're going to compare everything from the box down to the colors. So we're going to begin with what you receive and what your first impression is going to be. And that's the tin. I love this picture. I thought this was so pretty. I love space. I love sci-fi. It was something that attracted me to this pencil originally. I love a good tin. So we start off with the space and Starjoy 120 in white, and then an overview of the pencils. On the new Starjoy Gold, you'll see we changed up the color on here, and instead of having an in-your-face white splotch that was a little bit too bright, tone that down, tone the lighting on that down, and of course, since the perspective of it, this is looking more further away, we toned down over there. It just made it a little bit less harsh to look at. And then we changed this to the Starjoy Gold Edition, 120 pencils. It's not that far off from what we had before, but it's a little bit more fancy, and it's not bright white. So as we open the tin, now these tins are obviously empty right now, you see the same picture that is on the outside, the Starjoy logo, and then some very difficult to read colors showing the spectrum. Now this was fine. It started with a 019, 018, and the name of the colors. Anybody in the printing business, you're not going to get the exact color on a tin because you're really using two different systems. It's not a great representation of what each pencil is color-wise. It's very small, thin lettered, and difficult to read. Instead, we put something that you could use. We bolded the letters, which makes it much easier to read. Now, this is as much of the representation of the color as we possibly can give. It's not the same as when you swatch your own, and you will be getting a swatching sheet with this set also. So we have your whole color codes and what's here. That's why I thought this was very important to actually use and not waste the space with stuff that people won't read. This is your color code. You know that your orange, your strawberry is an OR. Now you can pick an RO, peach orange. These two are going to go together. They're going to look good together. So you have your whole system laid out here, easier to read. Then we have the back, and we put the bullet points of what makes this system different. The third time you're getting the swatch sheet on the first one. It really didn't make sense to any of us. I don't know why they did that the first time. And then this gives a description, but a little bit broken English. We fixed that and we went with this, which was much better. This one is not in broken English, and it's got my name and my YouTube channel on here so that you know where you can go to. If you're not already subscribed to me, it's on the box, so you can find me, and I will have plenty of information about these specific pencil sets, plus I can answer any questions. So that's the tins, both 120 pencils, the typical size tin, 3 trays, and now let's go on to the pencils. Before we start looking at the individual colors, I want to show you the actual physical difference between the pencils. Now I'm going to just pick one, and it doesn't matter which one I pick. They're not identical colors. The Starjoy Golds are easily recognizable with the gold tip. I tried to keep it different from other pencil sets so that when you have the pencils mixed with other brands, you'll be able to see the difference. This one, it could be a Deli, it could be a whatever, it could be a Brutfunner. It didn't have anything identifiable on it. Also, this is done in high gloss. This is matte. Matte is much easier on the eyes, and you will see that even when I took out these two sets and I started looking at the colors, it was very difficult for me to read. You have a light line going right through it on silver foil. On these, because I had them do it in matte instead of gloss, You can clearly read the Starjoy Gold. You can read the pencil at the end, Sophia Pink. They're very easy to identify. Both of these sets go in number order from 1 to 120. Except for this set, except for the Starjoy Originals, the lettering is on the pencil itself and not at the end. They didn't put anything on the end. I had them change that because all the identifying information for the pencil remains at the back. So you can easily sharpen your pencils down to the very end and still know exactly what pencil, what color is this, what number it is, and where you're going to be using it, where it goes in the box, and that'll never change. And I do suggest, because it's like this with every pencil out there, you don't want to put your oils on the foil. It's foil. It could come off the pencil in every single set. I don't think I have a luminous pencil that I could still read the number off of it. So that's the big change from the Starjoy Originals. Now, Andy is not going to be producing these pencils. These are still good pencils. I made upgrades to the second set, and that's why Andy and I did this. We wanted to make a better set. Is there anything wrong with these pencils? No, not at all. They're good pencils. These are just better pencils. Another thing that you're going to notice immediately, because I'm going to try to get one that's not that sharp. Okay, you could see this is a 3.8 millimeter core. These are a 3.3, and it's very evident when you look at them side by side. You will notice immediately the size of the core. That's important. There are times that I like a smaller core, a thinner barrel. If I'm doing some intricate work where I needed to get in there with a smaller barrel. But in general, a larger core will last longer. I've done 3 full pictures with my Starjoy Golds, and that was taking it from first layer to burnish. How many pencils are short? These pencils will last. They last much longer than the 3.3 barrel. They also will not break, which is, I'm not saying that you're never going to have a pencil tip that breaks. Every pencil tip breaks. But this is my honest experience from the 3 pictures that I've done with these. I haven't broken a tip yet. The only time I damaged a pencil was I was sharpening and my sharpener went a little awry and chopped my point down because one, I was too filled and it displaced the inner blade. So that was the only time that I've even had a chip. You're also going to notice that these are not very dusty, which was another thing that Andy and I had talked about. Every pencil set out there, you will get some pencil dust. It's just part of using the pencils. But I did not get as much with this set as I have with other sets. I didn't get much with this set either. So I was happy about that with both sets. The balance of the set. If you look at this set, it's a nicely put together set. You've got your pinks and your peaches going into your reds and your oranges, and it's very pretty. This is a very well balanced set. You got plenty of blues. On here, I concentrated more on what you were going to be able to do to create other pencils. So I gave you 3 of each color group up until color 54. This way you have the full range that everything that you create with this, you can create another color from. If you use sienna with the orange, you're going to get pumpkin orange. There's no reason to have a pumpkin orange when you can create it. And we can concentrate on other things in the set, considering I only have 120 spaces. In Starjoy Originals, they did include the metallic colors. They have the metallic gold and they have the metallic silver. In this set, I did not include the metallics. And I did not include a white. And I'm going to say this about both sets. White pencils from China suck. Okay? I will say it about the Deli. I will say it about every pencil set from China. They just don't have that opaque richness that some of the other sets have. As artists and even as colorists, you could do better by going out and getting good quality opaque white pencil. And that's just the way it is. And I took a vote on my YouTube channel. What did people feel? Should I include a white? If I include a white, I have to take away another color that I could put in. And overwhelmingly, everybody said skip the white. I'm also skip the gold and the silver because I'm a pencil collector. I have pencils, Prismacolors, going back 100 years. And guess what most of those are? The metallic gold and the silvers. Nobody uses them. When was the last time you went out and bought a replacement pencil for your golds and your silver? Once you use a gold and silver, they don't blend with other pencils. They stand out on their own. And Andy and I may put out a metallic set where you could buy the metallic pencils. But for an artist set that you will be using as everyday pencils, I did not include it because you can create gold using the combinations. You can create silver very easily. Silver is white and your grays and a black. Your gold is an orange and a yellow and a white. And you can make any range and any style that you want. You could do rose gold. You could do anything. I've put out videos on how to create gold. It's more realistic if you create it than it is to draw with it. Now, the only time you use a gold to silver is if it's going to be like a special card that you want the metallic on. But for an artist everyday set, you really don't need it. So that's the exterior of the colors. So again, we have the matte, we have the gloss, we've got identifiable, we have kind of looks like every other pencil out there. Easy to read, kind of difficult to read. So those are some of the physical attributes that I changed in creating the pencil that everybody seems to want these traits. You've got your trios, you've got your browns. I included, because we all want them and we know we love them, the pastels. They're all nice and neat and in number order. Plenty to play with. We've got the brights, all the jeweled colors that I put together for you because everybody wants that middle tone. In this set, they've got it, but God knows where it is. I try to put some of the colors together. I'm missing 4 pencils, but I have a basket of pencils that I haven't put away yet, so they're probably in there. And if you're wondering why this is not used, this is my second set. Let's talk about the barrels themselves, and I'll give you some information about that from behind the scenes. These are the barrels that we chose for the pencils. These come from the places that mill the trees. We had choices of which types of wood, size, and hardness of that wood. We chose a sustainable wood, which means that it's not going to have an environmental impact. And it was very important to us that it broke down. We did go with the same company as he went with for these, where he got his wood. Now, when you're looking at the pencil sizes, just grabbing 2 pencils, you'll notice that they are the same size. The thickness of the pencil remained the same. And I'll tell you where our decision for this was. First, I suggested to Andy that he made it a little thicker, a little bit more like the Deli pencils. That was my idea. After I got to see the wood and feel the wood and talked with Andy about this, we're both very environmentally conscious people. So we went with supplies that he already had. What he still had in his factory were the plastic containers for the 120 pencil set in this size. So we didn't have to toss that out. He's able to use his stock of what he uses to produce his pencils. So we didn't have to change that. If we had, there would have been a cost involved with it that would have been passed down to you. And he did, not just me, but he did. We wanted to keep this within the budget price range. And that would be around under $60, which he has done by a lot. When I was testing the woods out, because we did look at different things, and when I was trying to sharpen some of the thicker woods, even he said, and Andy's been doing this for 20 years, it was much more difficult. And in thinking about the age and dexterity of a lot of adult colorists, not artists per se, but people who just use colored pencils as adults, we are an older crowd. Even though there are younger people that are very into coloring, the majority, and I could see on my analytics, we're older. We're older than 40. With that, there's problems with the hand. I wanted to go with something that would be easy to sharpen if you guys were using a hand sharpener. And this was absolutely very easy to sharpen. The wood is thick enough. There's no danger to cracking cores. I will say practically nobody's going to get a shattered core from these pencils. You glues these cores in, so even if you break a tip, it does not mean you have a shattered core. If you should get a shattered core and you start grinding down the pencil and then the pencil releases from the wood. It's not very common. What people call shattered cores are usually pencil sharpeners. That is the number one reason that people break pencils. You must use sharp pencil sharpeners, and the handheld ones, the blades need to be regularly replaced. That's what I liked about the comb sharpeners, is they actually come with more blades. So these are going to be very easy to sharpen. They're very smooth in the hand. I like the way the barrels feel in the hand, and they are the exact same size, thickness wise, as the Starjoy originals, but with a larger core. So now let's start looking at the individual colors that I chose. I haven't even looked at these colors when creating this set. And the reason I didn't do that was because I wanted to start from scratch. What were the colors that a beginning colorist that doesn't have a pencil set needs? So I added in here the tones that were the best for creating other pencils. Now, are these in here? I have no idea. I have not compared them at all. This is going to be the first time I'm doing that. Now, a little explanation on how these pencils are manufactured. Both of these pencils were created by Andy's company. You have to order the pigment from a company that works with the chemicals that create the pigments to create the cores. The manufacturing is divided up into a supply chain, and it has to work smoothly for it to go down the line of the supply chain. The people who go out and get the chemicals, the people who make up the pencil cores, and going down the line. But you do have choices. And what I did was, when I got the cores and they were coming from different companies, I went and I picked out cores that felt the best. Now, if you have ever noticed, even with Prismacolor, you have all these smooth colors, and then all of a sudden you get like this scratchy color. There is nothing that gives me the bigger chills than using the cream color in Prismacolor. It is the way the pigments are. So I tried to eliminate as many of the scratchy pigments as I could without taking away from the set. I don't know what Andy did in this. He made these pencils before I even knew him. I will tell you this, oranges are the smoothest pencils in the group, and usually overall from all pencil sets, oranges are usually very smooth. Greens can be a little scratchy, and that's just the way the pigments are, whatever chemicals they're using to create those colors. So there is a feel difference. Are these pencils scratchy? By no means, no. They're not scratchy. In fact, it was something I liked about them, that they were not scratchy. Once Andy gives the specification to the core makers, they create the cores. You take a look at them, you feel them. I was sent, these are just some of them, but I was sent wads of cores to test and go through. I have cores in test tubes that I had to go through. And that's what I did to create these colors. So you can see that there is a physical difference between this group. I will still use these. These are great pencils. Whatever isn't included in this set, you will find in this set. And as I said, I have no idea if the colors are the same. I chose the colors that I thought were the best for this upgraded set. I thought after editing this, I would have enough time to include the color swatching. I hit the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to have to put it into another video. Every time I go over 20 minutes, I have trouble uploading. So I will see you guys on Sunday with a color comparison where I'll actually be drawing with the pencils. And I will see you bright and early. Bye-bye.